Hello, this is Gavin Phillips with Photographer's Photoshop. High dynamic range imaging is a process of combining 3, 5, or 7 images shot at different exposures and then merging them into a single image. What you get is far more detail, greatly improved and controlled lighting, and vibrant color that you could never achieve manipulating a single image in Photoshop. This shot of the Bellagio in Vegas is one example. Here's what I would have got with the regularly exposed single shot. And here's what I got when I merged 5 shots into one shot at different exposures. Here's a night shot of Vegas. This is what I would have got with just the regularly exposed photograph. And here's a set of 7 at different exposure levels merged into one. Once again, an enormous difference. The way you create HDR images is simply by taking 3, 5, or more shots of the same scene, but at different exposures. Even most point-and-shoot cameras allow you to change exposure settings. I'll show you how it works. Let's go to Bridge. Here's a 7 set shot at different exposures, and if we look at the metadata here, you'll see this is the regularly exposed, 3 under, 2 under, and so forth, and now it's going 1 stop overexposed, 2 stops, and 3 stops. So this is what I would have got with my regularly exposed single shot. Of course, we can work this in Photoshop, but here's the merged 7 shots merged into one. Once again, no comparison. There's no way I'm going to turn this into this by manipulating it in Photoshop. So how do you merge your 3, 5, or 7 images into one? Photoshop does have a Merge to HDR facility under File, Automate, Merge to HDR. And here you would browse to your set of differently exposed images, but there's a much better way to go, and that's by using a little program called Photomatix. It's easy and intuitive to use. It does one thing very well, and that's the merging and tone mapping of those several images into one. I then use Photoshop afterwards for sharpening, curves, and any other image enhancements I think it may need. So back to Photoshop. A lot of people think you can only use HDR for stationary objects like commercial buildings, but you can photograph people with HDR. I show you how to remove the ghosting, the slight movement of people between the shots in Photoshop. And you can get the advantages of HDR in this setting too. Here's the regularly exposed image, and here's the enhanced HDR version. Here's another example from that church. Here's the regularly exposed shot, the HDR version. I cover my workflow step by step in your live interactive webinar. All your questions will be answered. You also receive comprehensive movie tutorials that cover everything in the webinar as well, so you don't have to take notes during your webinar. The movies are easy to access. You just go to your little folder, double click on the index file, and here they all are. They open up in your default web browser, and you just click on the graphic or the name of the movie that you want to see. They run about 3 to 4 minutes, and it starts playing in the free Flash player. It's fully narrated. We also cover Dynamic Photo HDR, which is another HDR specific software. By the way, both Dynamic Photo HDR and Photomatix are available as free trial downloads. You can compare them side by side. And of course, removing the ghosting. I show you how to do that, my technique in Photoshop. As you can see, there are many advantages for you in using HDR when photographing certain locations. Please see the website for webinar dates. They are updated regularly. My name is Gavin Phillips, Gavin at photoeffects.biz. Thank you.